For 11 years, I have been negotiating contracts with trade chains like Metro, like Auchan, Carrefour, and 11 other chains. I was cooperating with Scandinavian brands and introducing those brands to the Polish market through the contracts. For 11 years, I have been witnessing how the buyers, how the traders are using special techniques that we consumers buy more, we buy cheaper, we are prone and we are trying to select the products in the store, but actually we are following the manipulation that is behind the trade. And we are all doing what the advertising companies tell us to do, because our brain is constructed this way. And let me do a small test. Touch the person on the right. Look, our brain is completely ridiculous. Why we are doing what somebody else is telling us to do? Our brain works in the way that if somebody tells us, buy more, buy bigger, buy this faster car, buy a new bag because it's fashionable, you will be happier. We are doing this. And because of this mechanism that our brain is addicted to commanding by others, we are doing a lot of mistakes. And now I would like to show you what is the relationship between a growing epidemic of diabetes. And not only here, not only in Poland, but the whole world is suffering from diabetes and obesity. And what is the relation to organic food? Okay, let me say something about myself. I am a publisher. I am publishing magazines in Poland for 7 years. We have also websites. For the last 2 years, I decided also to expand our knowledge we have collected thanks to very nice professors, very good scientists who are writing for us pro bono. And we collect such a huge knowledge in all languages that we can share the best knowledge you can gain today in 1 hour. So what I'm also doing, I have established an association. We are doing public speaking everywhere, 69 events this year, and we are trying to provoke consumers to stop buying, to stop this consumption that is giving us diseases and that is giving the planet the problem for the future. Already our children are worried about their future. It's something that is not correct. So, this knowledge that I have collected, it's so many editions, so many people, it's 2,000 pages in Polish, that I decided to make this also available for the international scene. So many scientists that are worried about the globe, about the soil, about the water cleanness, about the air, and the most important thing is the food we eat. The food is #1 pleasure we have. The food is #1 worry we should have, because this is our source of energy. And what I would like to present today is just, why do we get sick? Can anybody help me in answering this question? Anybody want to say why we get sick?
There are many reasons.
Many reasons.
Imbalance.
Imbalance. Anybody? Germs, yes. Anybody more? I will tell you something. What I have done, because I am a journalist, and journalists are like detectives. Yeah? I have been skeptic to everything I heard, and I wanted to check on myself what works. What I stopped doing, I stopped drinking water from plastic bottles. I stopped eating wheat bread wheat flour bread. I stopped drinking milk, which is not organic. I stopped eating meat because it was not okay. And so on and so on. In 4 months only, I noticed that something happened to my brain, something happened to my body actually, and it was visible because 80% of my clothes I have to change. And this was something that it's beyond discussion. Something happens with our body when we change the food. I will tell you more what I have changed. What is getting us sick? This is mainly this. And of course imbalance, of course germs, of course the viruses and so on. But the main problem we face this decade is processed food, which is very cheap and very convenient on every corner. Even yesterday I saw there is Burger King in Dubai. Artificial additives like glutamate and other artificial additives. Do you know that in 1913 there was a chemist who had his wife in Japan cooking for him wakame dishes, and he as a chemist wanted to understand what is in that taste, wakame, that he wants so much this food and no other. And there he discovered the substance, and he as a chemist constructed an artificial taste, which we now know as glutamate sodium. And this is added since 1914, after a year from his discovery. This additive is added as a taste, artificial taste, to all Asian food, which is on the street, and also other gastronomy business, because this is the taste we are dependent on, we are addicted to. So there are 13,000 artificial additives used in food industry which are legal. And we eat it along the food we eat. So I was having a lot of questions from other audiences. So how can we avoid it? Eat simple food without ingredients. Just having food that doesn't have a packaging. We are addicted to sugar. So the sugar has to be cheap. Then people buy a lot of sweets, of things that are sweet. We don't even know that the mayonnaise, that the products like ham, they shouldn't have sugar, but they have. Even the mustard shouldn't have sugar, but it has. Then we are more eager to buy more and more of these products which contain sugar. And the sugar has to be cheap. So what do they do with sugar? They refine it. That sugar is a poison, and everybody knows. But there is a war in the food industry between fat producers, grain producers, and sugar producers. Everybody wants to win consumers. So they say the heart diseases, it's because of trans fat. No, then they say people are getting obese because of sugar. Then there are foundations, including big corporations, and I can also send you the link to the campaigns, which are saying it's your fault that you are not moving your body, that's why you are getting obese. You can eat sugar as much as you want, and buy this Coke, it's no problem. You should move your body, and don't complain on the sugar. So we are manipulated by all the branches of food industry to buy their products. And we buy refined sugar, we buy refined olive oils and other oils. We buy trans fats, which are making our life easier and cheaper. What do we get? We get diseases, which are totally unnecessary. What do we get more? Nobody is talking about this. But I met a scientist who was in the military for 40 years, working in the US Army. and he said, you will meet him in a minute. He said that the glyphosate is the widest chemical created by human beings spread in this world. And this is war. This is war against humans. Because decades ago, when the glyphosate was registered as a widespread antibiotics, so it has a wide spectrum of how it works, it was meant to be to kill bacteria. So what happened is amazing. I will show you in 10 minutes what has happened. So the glyphosate we eat, where is it? Is it on the label? No. Where is it? Anybody? It's in all herbicides based on glyphosate. Herbicides are very good product for farming, which is conventional, because it kills everything. But this is very, very bad for our health. But if we want to spoil our health, it's fine, it's our choice. But it spoils the soil. It kills all the germs which are good for the plant. It kills the soil, it's not productive, it's not immune to the pathogens. So they have to use even more chemicals to make it produce the plants. So this is a loop that we have to come out. And I would like to show you where are we going. What is our problem is that we don't pay enough attention to the food we eat. We eat in a rush, right? We don't want to prepare our food with our knife because it's time consuming, right? It's a sacred activity. It's the most important thing we can do in a day to prepare the food we eat. With attention for ourselves, with attention to our families, with attention to our future health. Because it's not like we are going to a machine, cash machine, and we are taking from the wall the money. This is alone. We borrow money. We borrow money from our health. The bill will come tomorrow. If we don't pay attention to what we eat and how we eat, with what kind of attention we look at the food, we should be thankful to the food we have on the plate and not saying, oh Jesus, I will spend half an hour cutting this carrot. This should be totally different thinking. The other problem is not only time we spend on food preparation, but also the money. We would like the food to cost nothing. How much in percent does food take your monthly budget? How much? Very little. Something is wrong, right? Food should be the base of our budget per month, because it's something that is giving us either true energy or future disease. So this is our choice. What do we choose? The third problem with the food we have is that we eat too much. That we eat not what our body needs. We are moving too little, and we are working by the computer. We are more writing than running. We don't hunt for the food we eat. We don't walk in the forest looking for 2 mushrooms. We don't spend our energy. So we like eating, so we eat a lot. And all the food additives make our food very tasty. And we are addicted to eating, so we eat too much. And one wise man said that we should either eat when we are hungry, or any concept, or we should eat when a host in the house inviting us to take a meal prepare the food with his heart. So even though we are not very hungry, we should eat, because it should be appreciated that somebody has prepared the food for us. And then, even though it's ice cream, we can eat, because it was prepared with love. So those are two cases we should eat: when we are hungry and when we are given with a heart. Only those two cases. Not when we think that we have nothing better to do, or we are in stress, or we don't know any other idea, or we are just waiting for somebody so we eat. It's a mistake we do. So, I think it's a heavy slide. I don't know how to move that. Okay, go back. So what I would like to tell you, I would like to show you how do we look with figures. Diabetes. Do you know a family without diabetes? Do you know a family without diabetes? We rarely do, because you will see it's 600 million. Oh, okay. Just one small help. We are on the moment where we are crossing a reasonable boundary, because in 10 years we doubled diabetes in the world. 2015 it was 900 million. In 2025 we will have double, 1,800 million. Do you know how it is when we go into simple figures? It's every family. It's every third person. It's almost 30% of population in the world has diabetes. And it doesn't cause any pain. That's why we are so much sick with diabetes, because it's not painful. So who has diabetes? Diabetes can be explained as a disease when your body has glucose in the blood, but it's too high because insulin is not enough, produced by pancreas. And there are two cases of diabetes. There is diabetes type 1, which is very small, but it's very dangerous. And there is diabetes type 2. And this one is very bad, because it's 85–90% of all the population that suffers from diabetes. And this has been known so far as the adult disease, like 40 plus. I am 45. I should be diabetic already. So now it turns out that even children suffer from diabetes, like 14 years. So what happens is that you can observe that you have dry skin, that you often go to a toilet, and that you either gain weight or you lose weight, because your hormones are not catching up and they don't do the work. And you don't notice those symptoms. They come very slowly. So it's a sneaky bastard. So diabetes type 1 is dangerous because it can cause something like diabetic coma, and people are often endangered to death. They can die because of this type of diabetes. But it's 10% of people with diabetes. Much more suffer from diabetes type 2. So 48% of people suffering from diabetes, they are classified as having overweight, meaning that they have more BMI, like 25 or more. And then another half, like 40%, is suffering from BMI 30 and more, and they are called obese. And only 12% of diabetic people they don't have any overweight or problem with the weight. So, what I have found on my journey of the generalist is also a method that we can go into our eyes and see, it's a bit too loud, that we can see through our eyes that we are either diabetic or not. There are some simple methods that we can look into our retina and see diabetes beginning. The first dots on our retina. You know, some problems with the blood vessels in the eye, they can check, the doctors, ophthalmologists, they can check and they can see the beginning of the diabetic disease. So you can check if you are or not diabetic in the ophthalmology and also in the optic stores. So this is something you can find out. It's worth checking. Our awareness should give us a sign that we should check and keep a finger on the pulse. Because this is the only place, our eye, that we can overlook our future diseases. Otherwise, they have to cut our veins to see how are we doing. And there, in the eye, they can see how we are doing, whether we are having a good diet and we are doing right for our neurons or not. But let's continue. How is related diabetes and the food we eat? There is a Polish doctor. She is Zaneta Geltz. You know? How would you say, how old is she? How old is she? She's 75. She's 75. She is my authority for food. She knows for the last 40 years. She was 2 years in India and she stopped